Hi guys, analysis of the Belgian Grand Prix. What a race it was. I would say at the point it was interesting, some point it was not interesting because I think that track really shows it's the longest track of the season. The actions were not equally splitted because you see the actions in front. In some races, the actions will be close, as in you can see what is going on behind some, around. But in this race, the action was not well splitted. But you cannot take it away from Belgium. The Spa Francorchamps circuit is one of the greatest circuits we've had in F1. Everything it brings to the racing is massive. Congratulations to Kimi Antonelli for a big win, a huge win for him. It's one of the biggest wins I think he's had because last year it was a bad one for him. But coming here, great win, great victory, a well fought, a well won, a well thought out victory he had in Spa Francorchamps today. And how did it all go down? We saw the first lap incident between George Russell and Lewis Hamilton. Let me talk about. To me, I think it's the first lap incident and it doesn't deserve a penalty. George Russell gave Lewis enough space but turned in too early. Yeah, he turned in too early. Lewis Hamilton, cold tires, lost control. They were side by side. Mistake could happen. These are first lap incidents, and I think Stewart should have looked at it like a first lap incident and just let it go. But a 5 seconds penalty for Lewis Hamilton he had to serve, and that also, I think, affected the strategy for Ferrari, changed the way the race finally panned out. Because by the time Lewis Hamilton changed tires, they were trying to set the front wings to be easily applicable with the hard tires, but they were unable to do that because the green light was on. He had to hit one of the engineers, the mechanics there. And that was even under investigation, but I think that there's nothing coming out of that. That 5 second penalty changed everything for them. It destabilized the team because, especially coming into a double pit stop, trying to make sure they manage it very well, it affected them. They are still growing together, and I think future is limitless for them. But I think that really affected their plan and the way the race was run from there. But I think they can still do better. And to George Russell, it was just the end of the race for him, and that is taking him more far away. It's like George Russell is taking one step forward and another step or two backward in his fight to challenge his teammates in the championship, because he could be closing, but sometimes losing 25 whole points is not a sweet one. I think he will have to start all over again from the beginning. It's as simple as that. It's not easy, chasing in championship. Now, aside from that incident, we had another incident in which I will talk much later. But Kimi Antonelli today showed his art. Before turn 5, he lost to Max Verstappen. He was confident. He knew he had a car. He got it back. He had a confuku with Charles Leclerc. There was a time Charles Leclerc was really leading the race. He fought back. So he held his head up high today. His hands were there. He didn't give up. He was a fighter and he really deserved the win. To Charles Leclerc also had his own confuku with Oscar Piastri. But I think that was where the penalty should really be in the race. But he never got a penalty. I don't know. But in the race, that was where the penalty should be. On the penalty for Lewis Hamilton pit lane incident, probably if the green light was on, I believe it's not a penalty. If they had given him a green light to move and he moved while they were trying to adjust the front wings and he hit the mechanic, thank God the mechanic was okay. I think if he was given a green light to move and he moved, the team should pay for that, not him. That should not be a penalty. So we'll see that. But that Charles Leclerc Oscar Piastri's incident was a penalty. It's just a banger for me. It's a penalty. And I think he deserves it. But unfortunately, there was no penalty in that. But Charles Leclerc, though being rough today, not just with his teammates, with everybody that drove around him, George Russell, Max Verstappen, Lewis Hamilton, his teammates, he was all through today rough. He was not giving it in, and I think that is what he needs if he wants to really challenge for a championship, especially with his teammates. And I think Lewis Hamilton on the side was a little bit kinder today. Lewis Hamilton, that we know, would have given him gas boost, but I think because he's leading, he has some opportunities. Probably he's looking at the Hungaroring Grand Prix, might be a good one for him because he's always had successes in Hungary, so he might be looking at that. But I think if we keep going like this, there'll be real battles with the Ferrari guys, and if they are not careful, it won't make sense. But for now, we are looking at it. But Max Verstappen, perfect. Great race today. He's always in the fight. He always puts himself on the line for the team, and he did that today. He gave a great racing today, and you can't take it away from him. Third position, great. He never fought battles that were not unnecessary today. It was a great third position for him. And to Oscar Piastri and Lando Norris, McLaren needs to sort a lot of things out, because at the point in which two drivers are running different races and they are fighting, and they are losing time. Because I don't understand what is wrong with McLaren that they can't talk to the drivers. Oscar Piastri give Lando Norris the opportunity to go on the different strategy. These guys were fighting, overtaking each other. How does it make sense to them? You leave them out there to be fighting while they are losing time, and you can't tell them, oh, you are faster. Oh, guys, you're on different strategies. Oscar Piastri, give him the chance to go. You're on a different strategy. You allow them to be fighting. It doesn't make sense. Well, this might mean that one of the drivers looks like he's going, and I think it's Oscar Piastri because Lando has a bigger investment. We've heard rumors of Max Verstappen having meetings with McLaren. And remember, GP is moving to McLaren. So these might be situations in which they can't control. And remember, Mark Webber is Oscar Piastri's manager. These are situations in which they may not be able to control. Oscar Piastri will not give a fuck. It will be like, well, I'm going. Fuck you guys. Whatever happens, let's see. But for me, it doesn't make sense. As a team, they need to bring proper coordination. And if things are getting like this was what happened between Lewis Hamilton and Bottas in their final year together. And I think this is one of the reasons why Lewis Hamilton was even unable to win that championship. Aside from the Abu Dhabi brouhaha, I think that was one of the reasons why he was unable to win the championship, because there were times in which his teammate Valtteri Bottas was not really happy with the team, and he did his own thing. He never listened to the team during the race on what he should do to help his teammate to win. That really affected them. So this might not just cause a burnout between the two drivers, or it might melt the team. And remember, if it is true they are bringing Max Verstappen into that team, they're bringing another big name with big ego, big. Can they undo that? It will become a real fight, and they need to start managing that now before they bring a big one on their hand. The team were able to have some good points, 5th and 7th for the team. Great one. Isaac Aja was the winner today for me. He deserves the driver of the day. Last on the grid, 3 tire changes, came in 6th ahead of a McLaren from behind the grid. No, you cannot tell me that he is not a great driver. That guy drove his heart out. Today, it was a great drive for him. He just left it all out there, melted his all out there, and that was perfect for me. It's a perfect way to show people that yes, you deserve the team, you deserve to be there. And if Max Verstappen decides to leave, you deserve to be number one. Great drive for him today, and a great one for them. And to Bortoleto, great qualifying yesterday and a great P8 today for Bortoleto. He's delivering for Audi, and he's telling everybody that he's a great driver and already selling himself to the world. That he didn't just win the championship in F2 for winning's sake. He is a good driver. To Avril Lindblad, another great drive for him today. Coming in 9th position, Colapinto coming in 10th position. Great driving for all those guys. I think there's still a lot to put in for some other teams like Haas, Williams, Cadillac. Another bad performance for them today. Sergio Perez, suspension issue. The second DNF for the race today, aside from George Russell that had an accident which involves Lewis Hamilton. Lance Stroll, clutch issue, retired him, but I think his teammate finished his race 2 laps behind. That's Alonso. But I think it's showing that at least the car is improving. Aston Martin is improving. Before, we can see that they find that to finish races, but now they're improving. At least one car had finished another race. In Silverstone, they were able to finish the race. Now another car finishing another race, so they still have a lot to do, a lot to push. But Aston Martin, I don't know. Aston Martin needs a lot of work. Cadillac, 1 lap behind, but great racing for them. Valtteri Bottas did a great race today. He was able to finish the race. But I think it's going to be a knockout for them if they don't get any point this season. They're a new team. They need to keep upgrading. They need to keep pushing to get points. It will be a knockout for them if they don't finish in point, and it will be very bad if they don't have massive points at the end of the season. But I think it will be a huge one, seeing how much they've put into this season and how much they have spent and how much they have really learnt. But for Cadillac, they've really done a good job. Stayed in races, though they've had their own share of motorsports mishaps, but they've done a great one. Coming into F1, first season, reliability not so bad. Looking at it, Antonelli and Mercedes are really running away with it. How can other teams catch up? Next week in Hungary, McLaren will be bringing upgrades, and I hope the upgrades work so it can close the gap. Ferrari should have a better racing in Hungary. Lewis Hamilton loves Hungary. Let's see how that works for the two guys. Will the Ferrari guys still be sharing data if this is what they will be getting? Will they be sharing data? We don't know. For me, I can't say, but I think they need to find a midpoint. The team needs to talk to the two drivers so that it does not become real war, because if Lewis Hamilton gets much closer to Kimi Antonelli in championship, it's going to be war, because if his teammate is not giving him the opportunity to fight it will be war. And for Kimi Antonelli's Mercedes, his teammate is far, far behind. He's more comfortable with the car. George Russell is struggling with the car. So if the car is still far much to him and his teammate is now copying his data now, it will be another war. Max Verstappen and Red Bull and Aja, they have nothing to lose. All they need is have good races, finish clean, get points, and if possible, win something. So getting to probably Hungary, we would see how far these teams have gone. The mid-season comes after Hungary. Then, after the Hungaroring, I know a lot of teams will go into development mode again. Who will come in the second half of the season to really put up a huge fight? Let's see. But I believe it's going to be very interesting. And who wins, it depends on how it's all pushed. But up until the next race in Hungary, who wins the championship, it depends on who has the push and shove. Up until the next race in Hungary, I love you guys. Bye. Cheers.